What's going on, friends? Welcome back to the Honeystead. And if you're new here, my name is Kaylee. I'm a beekeeper. I'm an herbalist. We like to grow and raise the majority of our food here on our homestead as much as we can. However, this summer has been quite dry. We have not had nearly the amount of rain that we normally get. But that being said, I kind of forgot about one of my favorite things that we do grow. And I haven't really peeked on it in a little while, and the other day I walked outside and noticed that it is actually harvest time because they are popping up. So I'm gonna grab my basket and grab my knife, and we're gonna go harvest one of my favorite things to grow here on our homestead. So these beautiful mushrooms just popped up probably a couple of days ago. We actually got a decent little bit of rain the other day, and mixed with this humid temperature, this is the perfect environment for the shiitake mushrooms to grow. Now, shiitakes can actually thrive between grow zone 5 through 9. They do tend to like a little bit of a humidity, especially after a good rain, and obviously this warmth. They are just popping away. And the one thing that I love about growing mushrooms is these logs will continue to give me fruit, the fruiting body of the mushroom for many years. I plan on absolutely growing more throughout this, throughout my time here, because again, like, the one thing that I will say with our farm and the mindset of that we have is we want to have more of like that food forest, that regenerative aspect. So for us, we inoculate them one time, and over the years, we will be able to continue getting a harvest. Now, typically the first harvest, what I'll do is I'll harvest them, I'll slice them up, and then I'll load them up into our freeze dryer. And then after that, we will enjoy them. But with the mindset that I have as well is there is a enjoy it and then also like preserve it, so I still have freeze-dried mushrooms from 2 years ago. And the same thing, after I harvest all of these, we'll more than likely load them up into the freeze dryer. I'm also wanting to do some shiitake jerky in the dehydrator. And then of course, I'm already planning my meals now because this is what we have. And this is a free food source for us. Outside of purchasing the inoculating little plugs, we used our beeswax, and we used our wood that we have here. Now, I know between shiitake and the whitecaps are two of the probably most cultivated mushrooms that you can grow or purchase, here at your local grocery store. And I think a lot of people don't give credit to mushrooms for the medicinal property. I think they just look at it as another food source. But the medicinal property of mushrooms are why I use them on a daily basis, why we eat them, and why we, of course, grow them and then also forage for them, which I do need to go check the back side of the property and see if we have any chicken of the woods. I'll probably do that here in the next day or two after, I think, hopefully we're going to get another rainstorm. So we will see. But the medicinal properties of the shiitake mushroom they are an immunomodulator, which means they're going to balance out your immune system. If your immune system is overactive, then it will lower it. If your immune system is underactive, it will raise it. Basically, they are balancing your body and balancing your response, which is wonderful, especially coming into cold and flu season. I've also read studies that they have anti-tumor properties, antiviral properties, also anti-inflammatory properties. They are packed full of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, They are just truly a delicious vitamin. But another reason why I really enjoy eating mushrooms, oh, I think I must have got into a little tick patch. Ugh, I'm gonna have to probably go scrub off because I am covered in ticks, which, yeah, that happens. But one of the other reasons why I really enjoy eating the mushrooms is they're also a hepatic protectant, which means they are protecting your liver. Our liver is our filter, you know, so what we put into our body goes through our liver, and then any type of toxins or anything that we could do to potentially, you know, harm our liver, this protects it. If you eat around 4 to 5 shiitake mushrooms a day, that is, you know, a good starting point for like the medicinal eating dose of it. That's about how many mushrooms that you could, you know, incorporate into your day. Now I'll take the mushrooms, I'll saute them up in the morning, add them to my scrambled eggs, maybe some sourdough, maybe some avocado, and just really try to start there. Another thing that I absolutely love doing with mushrooms is making a broth. Now that we will actually kind of do like a decoction. I'll add them in a pot. I will literally simmer them, add in, you know, garlic, add in thyme, add in oregano, add in the things that also add to that antiviral, all the antivirals, you know, especially for cold and flu season that's coming up. But I'll make a stock of the shiitake mushrooms. I'll use that to cook my quinoa or my brown rice or like risotto, anything that I'm making that has like a grain. Instead of necessarily using water, I will actually use my stock. You could use it to cook with your bone broth. I mean, there are so many things that you could do with a stock. And that reminds me, I have to make a batch of bone broth. That's coming. But I do like to add bone broth in my mushroom stock as well because of the collagen, which is, you know, excellent for your complexion as well. So it's not only good for your gut, it's good for your skin. There's so much. But this is just the mindset of like looking at the food as how it can support your body. This was easy. It took me maybe 2 hours to inoculate all of these logs, and I have had a continuous yield over the last couple of years, and I'm gonna have, you know, continue to have a continuous yield. I'm gonna harvest a bunch of these because we have got some meals that I've got to be planning, and I have got to go scrub off because this tick patch is probably not the greatest for me to be sitting in, apparently. So yeah, I need guineas. I need to add guineas to our homestead. That is a necessity. other thing to be careful for is to not accidentally cut yourself. But guess what? I'm an herbalist and I know what we can do. So this is turning into a little bit of a herbal first aid video. There's a plant that grows around here. It's called yarrow. It's Achillea millefolium. This plant is wonderful. The flower heads are already starting to die back, so I grabbed a handful of the leaves. It commonly gets misidentified as Queen Anne's lace because of the flower head, but if you actually look at the flower head and you look at the leaves, you can learn how to identify the difference. And then also too, the height of it does not grow as tall as the Queen Anne's lace, but not as tall as the poisonous hemlock. So always learn how to kind of properly identify your plants. But the leaves and the flower has a property in it which helps with blood clotting. It's a styptic. So I just harvested a whole bunch of the leaves and I kind of crushed them, kind of making like a poultice. Granted, I probably wish I could like crush it up a little bit more. But the leaves itself, as long as it's held on the actual cut, will help with the stopping of the bleeding. Now, other plants that I like to use as like a band-aid is narrowleaf plantain. It has the same vulnerary reactions as broadleaf plantain, but I don't have any here, so I am going to Girl Scout the heck out of this and use some long grass to kind of just tie around your yarrow leaf poultice. You can use the flowers too, but like I said, the flowers were already dry. Now, I know I've talked about yarrow in the past in some of my other videos. I will be going more in depth with the book, and very excited about that. But if you are interested in learning more about herbal medicine, especially the first aid aspect of it, I do have an herbal first aid ebook. We're about done harvesting all of the shiitake mushrooms. I don't know if it's gonna zoom in. There we go. But yes, so I'm gonna take these into the house. I'm gonna wash them off. I'm also going to de-tick myself because I feel them climbing on me, and I do not want to potentially get bit and then, you know, have that fear of any tick-borne illnesses, which if anybody is interested in tick-borne illnesses, there are also herbs that are anti-spirochete, which will basically break open that bacterial cell and help with that. So there are a whole bunch of medicinal herbs that have lovely properties, which is why, you know, why I use them and why we sit and talk about them together, because, you know, we are given all these beautiful things. Why not learn how to use them? Why not learn their value, what they can do for our body? And let's peek at the, oh look, stopped bleeding. Well, isn't that something? So I'm gonna go wash off, get these cleaned up and ready for making. We'll see what I'm gonna do. I might add some bacon into it, so that sounds good. Maybe like a bacon and mushroom white wine sauce. Maybe like a creamy sauce. We'll see. We'll see what I'm gonna do with them. I know my husband's gonna be happy. I'm gonna make something delicious because, you know, food is love. But anyways, as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old. Bye guys.